this is the least affordable car market in modern history. So cars have only been around for like 120 years at this point. So all of this is kind of modern. Just 8% of new vehicles are costing under $30,000. I remember when I first started buying cars, $30,000 was like a luxury car. That could get you a BMW, right? $30,000 to get you a mid-sized Mercedes. Now only 8% of new vehicles are costing under $30,000. And if you're just tuning in, my name is Christopher Yule, and I love talking about stocks and finding those outlier trades with outsized returns. And if you're interested in that too, be sure to definitely hit the subscribe button down below. And today's episode is sponsored by Outlier.com. Go to OVTLYR.com to find out why outliers win. So reading through this, right? New cars under $30,000 make up just 8% of the market supply. And that's down from 38% before COVID, right? So looking at this down here, we can see that there was a huge jump in car pricing right around the time COVID happened. Ba-bam! And a lot of that had to do with supply chain concerns, right? And the fact that dealers were putting markups on their cars because they literally were limited by what was on their lot and what they could get in because of supply chain shortages, especially in the chips. But not only that, they just could not keep any vehicles on the lot because people were excited to use their stimmy checks. If they weren't investing in the stock market, they were out buying new cars. And the trend has continued on, right? So do we actually think that there's going to be some sort of capitulation here where prices are going to come back down? I'm not really sure about that. But it only makes sense to continue to ratchet up price, offering more features and the size of the vehicle with each redesign. So what they're saying is that the auto industry, they love this. Of course they love this. They're selling cars for a lot more expensive than they used to be, right? This same car basically costs 38% more. I don't have the exact math, but let's just use round numbers here based on the story. This same car costs about 38% more now than it did 3 or 4 years ago. And car makers are so stoked about that, right? And dealers are stoked about this. But I do think that we've got to hit a concession point where it's going to come back down. And this has a lot to do with the Fed raising rates. Now, the Fed recognized that of their inflationary measures is car prices. And one thing that they are doing is by raising rates, they're making cars even less affordable. So the price of the car has gone up. The cost to finance the car has also gone up. And because of that, it makes it the least affordable car market in history. So looking at the data, an outlier, I just picked out Ford, for example. We got a sell signal back on July 17th, and Ford's been in a bit of a free fall. And we talked last week about how Ford is, oh my goodness, look at that. I didn't even realize the look of that chart there. That is ugly. We were talking last week about how Ford is losing, I think it was $2.2 billion in 2023. And that's after, no. It was losing $2.2 billion in 2022 on their EV operations, and now losing another $4.5 billion in 2023 on their EV operations. Whereas Tesla, on the other hand, they legitimately started the EV market, and they are going to destroy everybody else in the EV market, and they can do it on price. If you remember just a few weeks ago, Tesla dropped the price of their Model 3 and Model Y to make sure that all of them were going to qualify for their for the government's EV tax credit of $7,500. And I pulled the data here. We can actually look at the Tesla website right now. Going on to the Model 3, build your own, $32,000 after tax credit. $32,000. While that's not under the $30,000 level, right? You can get pretty dang close with the Tesla after your tax credit. And that is a huge victory. That's a huge victory. $32,000 after tax credit, where if we look at the chart over here, the average car price is up to $47,000. Average transaction price, $47,000. And Tesla, being the most innovative, interesting company, and yes, I am an Elon fanboy, in the world, can get you $15,000 under that. What is that? That's a good 30% under the average car price out there. Unbelievable. So let's go to the comments and see what people are saying on this, right? We should recommend young people to add another $40,000 car loan on top of their student loan payments, right? Yeah, people are hurting, right? This economy is not in a good place, even what the Fed is trying to say. The 40,000 car payment is not going to help anybody. The average interest rate is 8.62%. A couple years ago, that was in the 3% range, right? Now you've made it 3 times more expensive to finance that car. That's legal robbery. Would you agree? Yeah, Bidenomics, just saying. So is nearly everything else, right? Everything is getting more and more expensive. By design, you'll know nothing and be happy. We've all heard that. So looking at the outlier data, for Tesla, it definitely has a buy. On Ford, it definitely has a sell. And if we go back to our other story here, right, Elon and Zuck are going to be fighting it out. Well, Elon and Tesla is going to be fighting against every automaker out there because they're really the only ones with anything left in the market that can still change their prices, right? They don't have to worry about the whole legacy model. And when they can sell a car for $32,000 after tax credit, that makes things a lot more interesting. And for those who are shopping for a new car, a pretty good value and one that a lot of people are going to be taking them up on. So on today's episode, we covered how the Fed thinks there's no longer going to be a recession. Let's call that baloney, just like it is. Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg are ready to kick each other's butts, and they're going to live stream it on the X platform. And finally, it's the worst car market in history, and also the worst housing market in history. So as far as no recession on the horizon, let's be real here. Nothing in anybody's term, nothing in anybody's viewpoint is saying that this is a great market out there. I think the Fed's on something, and it ain't good. So thank you all so much for coming today. Be sure to hit the subscribe button down below. We'd love to see you every single day, every single weekday, I should say, over on our Outlier channel. And be sure to like the video as well, because we do this for you all the time, and we want to know that you like these videos. Be sure to put your comments in the description down below, or I should say, put your comments down below to let us know what you thought of these stories. And Mahesh will be here tomorrow with his stock picks. Thank you all so much for tuning in today's Outlier Live, and we will see you next time.